Russia raided strategic city in Donetsk, Ukraine, to recruit prisoners into the army. Russia warns that America and Japan will increase military exercises in the Far East. Donald Trump's youngest son entered politics. Cambodia explained the reason why Chinese warships were present at Ream base. Russia raided strategic city in Donetsk, Ukraine, to recruit prisoners into the army. Ukrainian military spokesman Nazar Voloshyn admitted to Army TV that the Russian army launched attack groups to raid the city of Krasnohorivka in Donetsk province and hold up in a local factory area. However, Mr. Voloshyn also said that, not long later on the same day, May 8, units of the Ukrainian Defense Forces successfully isolated the above Russian attack groups. Mr. Voloshyn further revealed that, as of now, Russian attack groups have been cut off from their ammunition supply. Small Russian assault troops raided the city and are now inside the fireproof materials factory. Thanks to the efforts of Ukrainian military units, mainly the 59th Brigade, the enemy was isolated. Established and is still inside the factory, Mr. Voloshyn said. Our defense forces have complete control over the situation both in Krasnohorivka and on the outskirts of the city. Over the past day, Ukrainian defenders destroyed about 30 Russian soldiers approaching the area, the spokesman said. Ukrainian military spokesman added. Mr. Voloshyn also revealed that the Russians are conducting attacks near the village of Nedolov and trying to attack the eastern part of the Pervomaisk settlement. Near Nevelsk, they were also advancing in small assault groups, but were all repelled by our soldiers, Mr. Voloshyn added. In a related development, Mr. David Arakhamia, chairman of the Servant of the People Party, said on May 8 that the recently passed law on voluntary mobilization of prisoners in prison will allow Ukraine to mobilize up to 20,000 prisoners. Soldiers. There may be 15,000 to 20,000 prisoners who meet the necessary criteria, Mr. Arakhamia said during a press conference at the Ukrainian parliament. We are not sure how many people will agree to sign a contract with the military, because participating in combat is voluntary. Our initial rough estimate is a few thousand people. He noted that only convicts who have been granted parole by the court are eligible to volunteer to fight. People serving prison sentences for serious crimes such as murder, rape, sexual assault and treason are prohibited from performing military service. Only prisoners who have less than 3 years remaining before their sentence is completed are eligible to register to fight. Russia warns that America and Japan will increase military exercises in the Far East. On May 9, Russian ambassador to Japan Nikolai Nozdrev said that the country is watching with high vigilance the U.S.-Japan increased exercise activities near the border in the Far East. In an interview with Sputnik news agency on the occasion of the 79th anniversary of the Soviet Union's victory over Nazi Germany in World War II, the Russian ambassador noted, "We regularly warn Japan that, if this continues, Moscow will be forced to take counterattack steps to stop the threat." In addition, the diplomat said that the government of Prime Minister Kishida Fumio continues to follow the process of promoting militarization and resolutely removing the pacifist provisions in the constitution that this country has adopted. Pride for decades has caused much concern in Russia as well as in Japan. Mr. Nozdrev pointed out, "We are talking about a significant increase in military spending, increasing offensive potential, lifting self-limiting measures on arms exports, as well as deep military cooperation, significantly sharper than the U.S." Also in this interview, the Russian diplomat protested that Japan was making territorial claims against Moscow instead of accepting the results of World War II. According to Ambassador Nozdrev, the strengthening of confrontational rhetoric that is completely inconsistent with reality is evident, especially from the diplomatic Green Book recently published by the Japanese Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which repeats words that are unacceptable to Russia. Up to now, Russia and Japan are still entangled in a territorial sovereignty dispute related to the archipelago, which Moscow calls the Southern Kurils, while Tokyo calls the Northern Territories. Donald Trump's youngest son entered politics. The youngest son of former U.S. President Donald Trump surprised everyone when he was named on the list of 41 Florida delegates at the Republican National Convention. According to the list obtained by NBC News, Barron Trump, the youngest son of former U.S. President Donald Trump, was suddenly named among the 41 delegates from the state of Florida at the Republican National Convention scheduled to take place this summer. This year, Barron Trump turns 18 on March 18 and will enter politics after graduating from high school last week. Observers say that he has grown up and can follow his family's political tradition. The New York Post quoted information from Florida Republican Party Chairman Evan Power saying that, besides Barron, Mr. Trump's 3 other children are also 5 of the 41 delegates in this state. Previously, the eldest daughter of the former U.S. president left politics when he failed in the race to the White House in 2020. "We are fortunate to have a great group of grassroots leaders, elected officials, and members of the Trump family working together as part of the Florida delegation to the Trump National Convention. Republican Party in 2024, Mr. Evan Power said. Meanwhile, Mr. Trump is currently the first former U.S. president to appear in court and could face up to 136 years in prison in 4 criminal cases. Mr. Trump's lawyers are trying to delay all 4 criminal cases he faces until the presidential election takes place. Previously, on May 1, taking advantage of the break between a criminal trial, the former U.S. president held a campaign rally in Wisconsin. Here, he warned of a bad future for America if his opponent Joe Biden is re-elected this year. Cambodia explained the reason why Chinese warships were present at Ream base. General Chum Suchit, spokesman for the Cambodian Ministry of National Defense, said 2 warships of the Chinese People's Liberation Army, PLAN, were present at the Ream naval base to prepare for the 2024 Golden Dragon joint exercise. According to Mr. Chum Suchit, the 2024 Golden Dragon joint exercise between Cambodia and China will take place on May 16. A foreign media agency recently exaggerated the presence of 2 Chinese naval ships docked at Ream Naval Base, accusing the Chinese military of using it as a military base and claiming that this is China's second-largest military base, outside the mainland. Globally, Khmer Times newspaper quoted Mr. Chum Suchit on May 9. According to a spokesman for the Cambodian Ministry of National Defense, the above accusation distorts the actual situation and aims to mislead the domestic and international public, while creating misunderstandings about Cambodia's actions and sovereignty. I want to emphasize that the presence of the Chinese Navy is to help train the Cambodian Navy and prepare for the Golden Dragon exercise, the 6th joint exercise between the 2 navies in mid-May with the theme topic anti-terrorism and humanitarian relief, Mr. Chum Suchit affirmed. Mr. Chum Suchit added that the Cambodian and Chinese Ministry of Defense have agreed on training activities. Specifically, the Chinese Navy will train the Cambodian Navy in skills and techniques for using ships and weapons, as well as other new technologies. The Cambodian Ministry of National Defense spoke up after satellite images from the Center for Strategic and International Studies, CSIS, U.S., showed the presence of 2 planned warships at Ream Naval Base since December 2023. Images provided by U.S. satellites have further fueled foreign media speculation that China has a military base on Cambodian territory. General Suchit denied this information, calling it slander and exaggeration of the truth. Mr. Suchit said that upgrading the base has contributed to modernizing the Cambodian Navy and that the 2 countries are strategic partners in all fields.